Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to keep it short, as short as I can without leaving out something. So if I do leave out something that I feel I should add, I'll probably split this up into two parts if it gets a little too long. I really want to keep it under a certain time limit, but we'll see how that goes. I want to do a very simplistic recommendation, I guess you would say, for bulking or maintenance, and how to figure out calories, macronutrients, things of that nature. So with that being said, again, just for keeping things simplistic, because I've read different, literature and a few things from Lyle McDonald that they're not exact. They're actually a little bit less, but just again for simplicity's sake, calories per gram for protein and carbs. CHO if you like science, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. But I digress. Anyways, where is it? 4 grams or 4 calories, excuse me, per gram. For those, again, just for simplicity, 9 calories for 1 gram of fat. Not really going to get into alcohol. Fiber, just my basic recommendation off of that. This, again, could be a complete arbitrary number, but just in terms of longevity for health wise, I would go with 10 grams of fiber per 1,000 kcals that you're intaking, just to be certain that you're taking in enough fiber. I know that sounds kind of like an arbitrary number, 10 grams. Why that number? Why not 5? Why not 15? Why not this and that? Well, I think you're pretty safe with 10 grams, and I mean that again. That's just a very simplistic recommendation. You can do whatever the hell you want to do. But anyways, moving on. So yeah, you have 4 calories for protein for 1 gram, 4 calories for carbohydrate for 1 gram, 9 calories for 1 gram of fat. Okay. So for calories per pound of body weight, I'm going to do this in standard as opposed to metric. I know the entire world other than the United States uses metric, but just in terms of making this video quick, I'm going to do it in standard, so like pounds and things of that nature. So for calories per pound of body weight, females, I would recommend, and again, asterisk, there's going to be a lot of trial and error with this. There could be no trial and error. There could be, again, quite a bit. There could be a little bit. Finding my maintenance when I first started counting calories and macronutrients a couple years ago, it took a while. Trying to find that balance, trying to find a good ratio of macronutrients, as well as trying to hit my overall caloric intake. So you might have to play around with it, and you also have to factor in your energy expenditure throughout the day. Do you live a sedentary lifestyle? Do you have do you have a full-time job? Are you active during that job? Are you sitting at a desk all day? That needs to be figured in there as well. Do you have a pretty high metabolism? Is it easy for you to gain weight? Is it easy for you to lose weight? Those are things that need to be taken into account. But anyways, so calories per pound of body weight, I think with females it's safe to start with 13, and play around with 13 to 15 and see how that works out. In a trained population, in a trained population for males, just meaning that you have some background experience in lifting or whatnot, or if you don't, I think those are safe numbers to start with. For males, I would recommend somewhere between 15 and 20. Again, you need to look at the factors that I've already addressed, as well as there's others, but 20 being on the higher end. And I mean, if you're bulking, you should be fine between 15 and 20. As I said, 20 being on the high end. But again, there's different factors that you need to look at and then address those as they may come. So you would take your body weight times that number, and that would be your maintenance, overall caloric intake maintenance. And then you can go from there. So basically, but that's not the end all. That's not, you put it into a calculator, boom, that's it. Oh, perfect, gotta nail it. not exactly, you know, like I said, you're going to have to play around with it. You might not have to play around with it. You have to realize that you're going to fluctuate. Your body weight is going to fluctuate daily, a little bit, at least, you know. I'm not going to say a number, but it's going to fluctuate daily. So if it's not the same every single day, don't freak out. You know, finding a maintenance is, you know, where you relatively don't shift on either end of the spectrum. For the most part, you stay the same. Let's see here. So yeah, so with overall caloric intake, just again for keeping things simple, and if we're going maintenance and above, so caloric surplus, I think it's just easier and simpler if you can keep protein at 1 gram per pound of body weight. Now that shifts a little differently if you're in a deficit, but that's a whole different topic. I think for maintenance or bulking, it is just easier, or more simpler, I should say. I guess that's really the same way of saying it. Keeping it at 1 gram. Again, you don't have to. This is just a generic, general recommendation. So there's playroom, obviously. Okay, so 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. You do that. And as I said earlier, 4 calories is in 1 gram of protein. So you figure out that based on what number that you choose for calories per pound of body weight. Let's see here. Then, let's see here. Then you figure out how many calories that is. You subtract that minus the overall caloric intake that you figured out. And then you can go to fats. So then you go to fats where you have 1 gram is 9 calories. And then you go from there. For that, I would use 0.3 to 0.5 grams per pound of body weight. And again, you multiply that out. And I know these sound probably like complete arbitrary numbers, but there's a method to the madness. And again, just a general recommendation, I would use 0.3 grams to 0.5 grams, you know, 0.3 being on the low end, 0.5 possibly being on the higher end. Me personally, I like to go in the middle, so I just go with 0.4 grams per pound of body weight for fat. Go from there, multiply that out, see how many calories that is, and then you subtract that from the total that you have with protein being subtracted. That total that you got after you subtract fats and protein, that's the calories that you have for carbohydrates now. And then to figure out that number, or to get a rough estimate of that number, you divide that number of calories left or remaining by 4, and that'll give you a rough estimate of how many carbs that you should be intaking every day. But again, you need to look at, you know, your lifestyle. Are you active? Does your job, is it labor intensive? Things of that nature. Just a few basic things that you need to look at. I don't want to make this too complicated. I know time-wise, let's see what I'm doing. About 8 minutes in, so I need to wrap this up. But yeah, you can go from there. And again, there's going to take some playing room, so that would be kind of going for maintenance. As far as bulking, you know, how much you want to bulk, and or if you want to fulk, which I wouldn't recommend that. I've done that in the past, and it was fun, but it's probably not the healthiest, I should say. And after a while, you kind of look like a troll. So, as far as bulking goes, I would start. You get the caloric maintenance that you did by finding that certain number by I can't talk today, multiplied by your body weight. I would recommend starting with 150 to a 300 calorie surplus and going from there. And then, honestly, as far as weight goes, I would go off of every 2 weeks. So you can weigh yourself every day or every week, whatever you want to do. But I would wait to switch the numbers, so to speak, until after a 2-week period, because you have to give it time. Things are not going to happen just like that. You have to give it time. So you have to give it an appreciable amount of time to see, okay, is my physique changing? Obviously, it's not going to be drastic in 2 weeks. That's not what I'm saying. But is your weight fluctuating upwards, I should say, or are you gaining weight in a 2 week time period, you should be able to notice that. Are you losing weight? Did you increase calories, and are you losing weight? Okay, so then I need to bump them up more. And I would just, with bulking, slowly increase. I mean, how much weight you want to gain per week is up to you, but this is just a very general recommendation. If you have any questions, feel free to post them down below. I'll try to answer them as best that I can. And I'm sorry if this video wasn't exactly what you were looking for, but this is just a very basic recommendation for those that want to count calories or macros. This is just how to figure out the numbers, so to speak, or a good starting place, I should say. But yeah, as always, be great.